it starts with you. It's not about where you're at right now, but like who you are right now and where you want to be. Like you got to really think about your future, man. Um, Paint that picture. Who do I want to be in 5 years and how I'm going to make that happen? That's what I did.
The top 3 responses that I get when I ask, why do you want to leave corporate America, are that you want financial freedom, you want to own your own time, and you want to build a legacy for this generation and generations to come. Now, this is not a solo job. In order to transition from your 9 to 5 into entrepreneurship, it's going to take community and it's going to take resources. And I've created the community of pioneers who are going to wrap around you and help you make that transition successfully. So if you're interested in leaving your job, go ahead and click that information below. Let's get into the community and let's transition from your 9 to 5 into entrepreneurship successfully. Now let's get back to the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Work and Play podcast. I'm your host, Ariel, and I got a great guest today, Mr. Leander Howard II.
Yeah.
Look, I got to get the whole thing in there. What's going on?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for joining me.
I appreciate you.
It's about to be a good conversation because, well, one thing is I typically, on my podcast so far, I've had my boss friends talk about their career journeys from corporate to entrepreneurship or up the corporate ladder. Yeah. And typically we talk so much about like how we've spent so long in corporate that we're trying to figure out what we want to do next. So the cool thing about your journey is you like at the precipice from college to corporate, yeah. And so you still remember a little bit of what that feels like. Yeah. You're still working on like your momentum in corporate, and now you're into entrepreneurship, which there's so many different transitions we can get into with your story. Right. So without further ado, you want to introduce yourself to the folks?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Leander Howard II, founder and CEO of Spark Your Resume. We're an online resume writing and career advancement services company. So helping real people obtain real results is like our slogan, but we help entry-level, mid-career, and executive professionals pretty much develop their professional brand as a top performer in their industry.
Yes, yeah. And your tagline is 3% better results than what? Like, because I saw on your, right, you get like better, 3%, 3% better results in their like job search, or is it?
So we've had a 99% interview rate.
99% interview rate.
Yeah. So our goal at Spark Your Resume is to really land you more interviews, right? Because I can't necessarily be our client at the interview, right? Nobody, that's impossible, right?
Absolutely.
But we can help you, gain traction, gain visibility, and teach you how to use the #1 platform for professionals, LinkedIn. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's the goal. Even for business owners, like I've even thought about, helping creators and entrepreneurs build their brand on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is honestly the #1 platform for organic reach, probably besides TikTok.
Absolutely.
So
you would be surprised. One of the biggest things that I talk to my clients about is building their professional brand on LinkedIn, and the fear behind that is my company and like my professional brand as it is, and not trying to sell myself as an entrepreneur. So before we even get into that part, what made you get into like Spark Your Resume? What was the impetus of that?
Yeah, so I was at Georgia State, right? Graduated May 2020, marketing and finance, dual degree. But before I graduated, I played football when I first got there, and then I quit football like 2017 summer.
Okay.
Because I had like a 1.9 GPA. GPA wasn't looking too good. I knew I wasn't going to the league. Okay. Right. So I had to make a decision, right, to let football go and pursue a career in business, because that's really the main reason I came to Georgia State University in the first place, was to get a marketing degree. I wanted to be a business student. I was in FBLA in high school. Like business was always around me. Like I was always interested in it anyway. So went to Georgia State, got the marketing degree, and then my mom, she kind of convinced me to do the finance degree. So that's when I declared my double major. 2017, going into my junior year of college.
How did she convince you? Were you?
She was like, money is everything. You need to do finance. And I'm like, I don't know about finance. But, lo and behold, I
got the degree.
And honestly, that was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made, because now I understand currency and how value it can be to individuals, companies, whatever, like whoever, right? And I understand how the economic system works.
Right.
So, and I think that's a lot of people need to understand that because they don't.
Yeah.
And you make decisions based on emotions rather than
Logic.
Logic, exactly. So I got into the finance degree, got my degree, but before that, I got internships.
Okay.
So I got an internship at Wells Fargo, 2018. Moved to Minnesota, paying me like I think $19, $20 an hour at 20 years old.
Okay.
People like, how are you doing and stuff like. Professionals not getting paid that much, you know what I mean? So, and that was I think, 2018 summer.
Okay.
So minimum wage I think is still $7.25 an hour back then. So,
absolutely.
Doing pretty well at 20 per se, and then went up there 10-week program. Got to know like the CEO. I got on a town hall meeting to actually ask a question to the CEO while I was an intern. And like employees haven't even got an opportunity to do that. You've been there for 2 months.
Right.
But I was always a networker. Like I knew my internship experience was get in and meet as many people as possible.
Yes.
Like forget your work. Like don't forget your work, but forget your work.
No, absolutely.
Like, do what you got to do, but you're there for 10 weeks, bro. Like they're not gonna remember the work you did. They're gonna remember the people you met
and how you made them feel.
How you made them feel. Exactly. There you go. You're already on game. So that's really all people remember is how you make them feel. Maya Angelou. Yeah.
Shout out.
So I did that, and then I got back. So I'm very strategic. So I'm thinking, okay, I got a year left in college. I need to get a part-time job. Yeah. I'm like, Wells Fargo has part-time jobs.
Okay.
So I'm networking. I'm building relationships. I'm like, can I be a teller while I'm in school?
Okay.
25 hours a week, so I get the teller job. As soon as I end the internship, as soon as I get back, next week I'm starting as a teller.
Okay.
Because I'm already inside the company. And my goal was to get in banking. Because banking is like, the first thing I think about when I think about finance is banking.
Right.
Especially at that age. And I'm like, I need to get a banking job.
Yeah.
So let me get a teller job. That's like, the entry level position. You don't really need experience, blah, blah, blah. So I got the teller job right after the internship. And I worked that job literally the whole year. So from August to like May of next year until my next internship. 25 hours a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. 8 hours days at the bank.
Yeah.
Crazy. Saturday was 9 to 1 because the bank closed at 1. But every other day, 8 hours a week. So I'm working like 25, 20, almost 30 hours a week, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. So
while I'm in school.
While you're in school?
Yeah.
So you did Wells Fargo. What was your second internship?
Arthur Blanks Foundation.
Oh.
So I worked there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And then I was a president of my business fraternity. And that's how I really got into Spark Your Resume.
Okay.
So people already come to me like, yo, how are you doing this? How are you getting these internships? How are you landing these full-time jobs? Like, how do you interview? How do I write a resume? How do I brand myself on LinkedIn? I was making LinkedIn content before I even thought about having a business. And that's where I try to teach just everyday people, you can be a thought leader in your space by talking about what you know. Talk about what you know. And I think everybody's a freelancer. My mindset shift is the person you're working for, or the company you're working for right now is your client.
Yes.
You can determine how many clients you have, and you're on a long-term contract. But COVID has shown us that client can end that contract whenever they feel like it.
Right.
Or you can walk away from that contract whenever you feel like it. Right? So what are you going to do when that does happen, and how are you going to establish your brand to gain the next client?
I love it. Yeah. You talking real, look, you talking real spicy for the folks in corporate who don't know how to do this.
No, that's a fact though.
So you said you've always been a networker. Yeah. You also mentioned that you were in a business fraternity, right?
Yeah. Alpha Kappa Psi.
Alpha Kappa, okay, shout out.
Shout out to Alpha Kappa Psi.
So what about you built that networking, what instilled that networking part of you? Yeah. And really, or did it come from this natural instinct?
I mean, I knew at the end of the day, people were the people that making decisions.
Yeah.
People make decisions.
Yeah.
So I had to know the people that make decisions. And I eventually want to be that person that can make the decisions.
Yeah.
So I want to learn from the people that's already doing it. And that's why I try to teach other people, like, stop. Like, you got to really pick and choose who you get information from.
Right.
Because everybody's not verified to even educate you on a certain topic.
Right.
So being able to, like, filter through who's who, how educated they are, you know, what they done is very, very important. And I think just me putting myself out there and articulating, like, the value I can bring to other people, but also what I'm looking for, helped me in my transition and really meeting the right people. So, and especially at a young age, like, oh man, this man is hungry. He's 20 years old, getting it. Like, it was easy for people to, like, gravitate towards what I'm doing because it's like, oh, he's very ambitious at this young age. He reminds me of me at 20. When you can remind other people of them, oh, I got to take this man under my wing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how you gain mentors. So, like, it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
And when you can give people a sense of, they can see themselves in you, it's a no-brainer. Like, they're already attracted to you because they see them in you. You know what I mean?
I love how you're talking, and I really love the fact that you are so young, and these are words that a lot of your colleagues hear. It's just that it just kind of, it seems to fall on deaf ears sometimes, like, to capitalize on that youth and to capitalize on the fact that people want to help you. Very, very successful people will take, you know, hours out of their time to help a person your age that they won't take for a person who's 35 and who may or may not utilize it.
There you go.
But the thing about it is, I think what's interesting is everybody successful is looking for a person like you to pour into, and they pour into so many young people and it doesn't materialize.
No, for sure.
So that's really cool.
Like Donnie. You gotta want to do the work.
Yeah.
She's only taking clients that wants to do the work. I can teach you everything.
And you're talking about Donnie Wiggins, so shout out to the business coach, Donnie Wiggins. She's
the GOAT.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. When people look at you, I'm pretty sure they see young and successful at your age, right? And I know what that feels like, because it's like, first when you get that 6-figure, that 5-figure salary that most people even twice your age don't even have, that's a crazy level of success.
That's a fact.
And then you also sound very secure in the fact that you're learning, you're soaking in information, and you're taking in mentors. But one thing that I'm sure, I don't know if you get, is like the skepticism of a young successful person who hasn't been through the stress and the struggles of life, right? So can you think about even back in college or one of those challenging situations that helped also shape you from a less positive perspective?
I mean, the football scenario. Like, that's one that I'll never forget. Like, that's a tough decision. I love football.
Yeah.
To this day, I watch it all the time. Like, I'm a sports fanatic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So letting that go and walking away from that was a big decision.
Yeah.
Like, that was not easy. Like, I got football homies, like friends, all of that. And later down the line, it paid off, but I had to better myself in that moment. And I think that's very, very important for everybody to take into consideration. Like, you got to do what's best for you.
Yeah.
Because 2-3 years later, by you making that one decision can catapult your career.
Absolutely.
It's just that simple. That's literally what happened to me. Imagine if I didn't walk away from football, didn't have those internships, didn't become the president of my business fraternity. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have the experiences I have today. You know what I mean? So it's ultimately shaped me to the person I am today because I made that one decision to better my life in the long run. Wasn't really worried about the now. I was like, okay, I know what I need to do now to get to where I want to be by the time I graduate. So I had a plan, very strategic. I'm very strategic. Like, everything is a play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm even like going back to my financial models for the business. Like, I don't really need this. This is not, I'm always a tester. I'm a risk taker. Like, hey, let's test it out. Yeah. I can do 1, 2, 3 months with this subscription. It might cost a little more, but let's pay it for 3 months. Let's see how it works. If it doesn't work in 3, I'm always willing to test something for 3 months, 1 quarter. That's it. I can see the results after 3 months. If it doesn't work in 90 days, let's get rid of it. You know what I mean? I think that's just a business kind of mindset I got into, is like test everything for 90 days.
Yeah.
30 days not gonna do nothing.
I can even hear you, like, you're speaking in quarters, and I know you've only been in the corporate space for less than a year, but I'm like,
finance.
Yes, okay, I'm with it. Okay.
Finance. I'm running reports every quarter.
Yes.
And I even tell people, like, implement these financial strategies into your daily life. Like, I got weekly reports, monthly reports, quarterly reports.
Really? Yeah. For your personal finances?
Personal and Adobe.
Of course. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Because on the job you actually do it for your company. Yes. You have your own business, so you do quarterly reports, and you have your personal processes of doing your personal taxes.
Even the business though, like, what do we do in sales this week?
Right.
How many appointments did we book? How many people canceled?
Yeah.
Like, how many people did we convert that we actually talked to?
Yeah.
My CRM tells me all of that stuff after I download the data.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you do for Adobe?
Financial analyst. Okay. So I'm in their financial rotational program. So I'm in FP&A right now, financial planning and analysis, working under the corporate marketing team. So I'm managing all the spend for the Japan unit right now for Adobe. So it's pretty cool stuff. I get to see all the numbers and things like that. See how much they're spending and all things like that. So it's pretty cool. Head count. I manage head count for Japan. I manage their marketing budget, their marketing spend, how much they want to advertise in different areas of business. So it's a lot of number crunching. I'm using Excel, Tableau, and PowerPoint, really. So
all the time.
Yeah, all the time. And a plan too. And a plan to manage headcount and input data. But yeah, it's crazy to really think about, what a financial analyst does and how can that, how can you take those same skill sets and implement it into your own life?
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to get into all of that. So you're in a rotational program. Is this your last rotation? Is it like 4 rotations?
2. So it's 2 rotations for 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
And then you pick your first rotation, which I'm in right now, FP&A.
Okay.
My 1 year is coming up in August 3rd. But since COVID has kind of like impacted certain things, our rotation is extending, I think, until like December.
Okay.
So I'll be in the same role until December, and after that I get to choose a different rotation on like what else I want to kind of get my feet wet with in finance. So,
have you started thinking about what that could be?
Yeah. I honestly, like, I'm really nice with like operations. So like SOP, standard operating procedures. So like automation, like what can we do to, save you time and money as a business. Like, I like that type of stuff, and I've already made that for my own business. Like, I got to-do lists for every position. You know exactly what you're doing Monday through Friday. Like, this is the to-do list for every project. I've created all that stuff myself. Like, not saying that's a good thing, but
that's a great thing.
No, it's a great thing, but I would rather pass it off to somebody else so I can handle, other things in the business. But and that's for entrepreneurs. Like, I feel like you have to do everything in your business till you can replace yourself.
Absolutely.
Because you got to set the tone. So I was the resume writer. I was the coach. I was the salesperson. I was marketing. I was finance. Like, until I can find somebody else to save me time and money.
Yeah.
By freeing up some of my time to scale the business to another level. So.
Yeah, it sounds like even that business process would ultimately pour back into your, spark your resumes and allow that to evolve from a process standpoint even.
Nah, for a fact.
Have you started thinking about how you'll continue going down a year later in Adobe versus as well as a year later in your company? What does that look like?
Honestly, man, it's tough to run a 9 to 5 and 6 to 10. Like, I'm trying to give duplicate effort to both, you know what I mean? And sometimes that don't work out. So like, sometimes I'll be like, man, I'm tired. I gotta focus on one or the other. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately you're gonna choose your baby, right? But at the same time, you still gotta perform in that 9 to 5 because honestly, that's funding your baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's a hard, it's a hard balance. It's not easy that you wanna still balance fitness, health, right? So I still try to go to the gym on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Sometimes that might cut down to 4 times a week, which is still, pretty decent.
For the average person, yeah.
Right. But, I'm the best when I'm in the gym. It's like when I work out every day, it's like, all right, I'm on my grind.
Yeah.
And getting to it. So, I mean, I've thought about, what it look like in a year when I'm working both. I think it's just gonna come to more structure, more organization, more balance, more, goal setting. Like having those numbers we reach every quarter, every week, every day. So I'm breaking it down like, okay, like 90-day rule. You got a good book, Traction by Gino Wickman. Great book for entrepreneurs, the EOS, the Entrepreneurial Organizational System. Check that out. Like
okay.
It will teach you everything about entrepreneurship, and it's very like a visual book. And I'm also reading a visual MBA right now. I forgot the author. I know his name starts with Jason something. But,
okay.
Really, really great book, and it's visual MBA, like getting your MBA degree, but visual. Like it breaks everything down from finance, marketing, operations, sales, IT, like everything. So it's pretty dope.
I love it. Okay, so you cross so many lines. And the lines that I see right now, you cross that youth elder line, you cross the corporate entrepreneur line, and you mentioned that you help clients who need resumes in college, need resumes like mid-level corporate employees, and then you also said executives. So can you tell me, what was it like to have your first executive client?
Yeah, actually, we're actually about to roll out some case studies so we can have some social proof. Shout out to D. Shans.
Yeah, right.
But so we got some case studies coming up where I actually I helped a executive level client. He was he had a senior executive role at Ernst & Young. Got laid off due to COVID. Came to us based on a referral. Shout out to Darren Roberts. And he mentioned, go to Spark Your Resume. They can help you. And it was like 6 months in business then.
Okay.
Our executive package then was like $600. And the way I look at it is like, you invest $600, we get you over a $60,000 salary. You just invested 1% into your professional development, which I honestly think people should invest at least 10%. But that's a whole different story. Right?
We can get into it.
But so he paid our $600, our package. We did his resume for him. We did his LinkedIn. We give out messaging templates because people don't really know how to communicate with professionals online. And then we also have a LinkedIn tutorial. So we actually teach and educate how to use LinkedIn as a job seeker. I think it's very, very important. I think that's one thing that separates us from a lot of our competitors in the market is like, we want to not only help you build your professional brand, but also educate you on how to implement the strategies that we've offered you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have a tutorial that I do for like an hour, broke it down into different sectors so it's digestible because I know people have short attention spans. So just keeping the customer in mind. So we helped him. He got laid off during COVID, hired again in 5 weeks.
Nice. That's results.
Crazy.
I can't wait to see that case study.
No, it's crazy. It gets even crazier. So he, I just did the case study with him. He was like, yeah, man, I got hired in 5 weeks. I knew that before, like, we did the case study or whatever. But then he told me in the case study, and he got hired at Barnes & Noble as an IT senior audit.
Okay.
So it was like a lateral move. I think he said he might have said like a $5,000 cut from salary, but it was like I needed a job because I got a family and kids to take care of, right? So and it was during COVID, like people are still unemployed from COVID. So it was a good transition. And then he used the same resume to put himself back on the market that we gave him in September. This is like right now, like May.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, man, I put my resume back on the market and I got 3 hits. I got 3 offers for $30,000 increase in salary. I said, yo, you paying us $600, bro.
Killing it on a return on investment right now.
Yo, I'm gonna need a bonus or something like, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, I think like your resume, like not to, shameless plug or anything, but like it's everything. You know what I mean? It's the first thing people are seeing, like even for business owners, like the one pager. Like I'm even thinking about getting to that space to where I actually done one for an artist already, Remy Lazarus, really good guy, 400 North, shout out to 400 North. But he's an artist. We did a one pager for him. He's trying to get bookings at different like colleges, universities, whatever the case may be. But it's a one pager explaining his brand, what he does, got all of his like social media platforms on there, linked to where he can send that out as many times as he wants. And it's digestible. Yeah. People have short attention spans. Like it's like building that landing page for your website, but in PDF. Right. To where now they can transfer that over easily. Like, yo, check out this document. Here you go. Boom. You got his information, booking, everything on there. Instead of people browsing to your website, they gotta find different things. Nah, you're giving them exactly what they need in one document.
Okay, well let's not forget this $30,000 return on investment real quick. So what is it that you do on the resume side of things? Do you see yourself more as the technical? Do you understand resumes on a technical standpoint? Is it the language that you guys use? What would you say is your secret sauce?
It's really, so I have a resume checklist on the website too, right? So we actually give this to our clients. Right? People don't understand. I think they underestimate the time and effort it takes to really write a good resume. So first and foremost, we want to research. Like you have to do your research, market analysis, right? And I always ask people like, when's the last time you checked your temperature in the market? So like, do you know how much you're worth? Because I have like a career discovery quiz that people will take, and they'll tell me their salary. I go look in the market, and the market tells me they should be making $20,000 more on that, and that's the average person. So it's somebody making $100,000 if they're making 60, right? And you're making 50, and then I see their resume, and it's like doesn't add up. The value isn't. It's not there. It's not showcasing your value on paper. To where somebody is like, oh yeah, this person is worth 80,000, 90,000, 100,000, whatever the case may be. So what we do is we look up different job descriptions. We look up different recruiters for you. We do just analyzing the job description, like scraping the keywords, scraping the skills they want, and then doing our market research, and then we talk to you. So we actually get on a 30-minute intro call. I got a customer success manager who actually takes 30-minute intro calls with every client. So they get to know you, learn more about your background, try to get everything out of you, right? Extract the information on what you think you've done. And then we analyze what you tell us, and then we match it with what the market needs and cultivate that story on paper. Okay. So that's like our transformation process into cultivating your resume into 1 to 2 pages, 1 page for undergrad entry level, 2 pages for mid-career and executive. I think 2 pages is like it's really good. Like nobody's reading over, like nobody wants to read that. Well, I promise you, like it's too much. You know what I mean? So we stick to 4 to 6 bullet points. We highlight the overview section for like the applicant tracking system, which companies are using to like parse your keywords to make automation, right?
Absolutely.
It's 1,000 applications. They're not reading 1,000 resumes. We want to automate this process. ATS does that for you. Not saying that every company does that. Some companies might go through every single resume. The recruiters might come at me a little bit for that, but I want to put that out there. So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I hate to interrupt, but have you gotten a chance to work with a recruiter and see like how proficient a resume is before it goes into your transformation, and then how the ATS system picks it up before and after?
Yeah, so I have a couple recruiters on call like that I constantly are like talking to about what's going on, what's the process, because I'm not a recruiter, right? So I'm an entrepreneur. I found a problem and I try to solve it. So I talk to the people that's actually doing it, right? Just like everybody else should be doing when they're trying to find a job. But I do try to talk to them and keep up to date with what's going on in the market, how are you using the system, what can we do better to help our clients get past the system, right? So I try to stay abreast with what's going on in the market, how they're using the system, and things like that, for sure.
That's really good. It's really good to have that inside knowledge, because when it comes to ATS systems, the keywords might change. Like
for sure.
All of that is systems based, but you basically answered my question in the sense that you guys' secret sauce. It's like the market analysis can be done by individual, but to really reach out to someone that's what they do, it can really like catapult your career. So that makes sense. And then you mentioned this earlier, like in a conversation we had, but you can't necessarily send people into interviews, right? Like you can't do that legwork. So even though your market analysis has gotten to a point where you statistically know that they're worth more, how do you get them to know that they're worth more and then go into an interview and convey that worth that you've put on paper?
Right. So we have, first and foremost, we have a 7-day process to where after we give you the project, you got 7 days to like review everything and let us know if you want to make any changes. Because we want to make sure that you're comfortable speaking to what we put on a resume.
Okay.
Because the resume is the foundation for the interview process. People always mess up going into an interview talking off the resume. Like, I'm like, stick to what's on the resume. They don't know anything else. Like, people have to understand, and I don't have to tell people this because they know when they're applying for the job, they're submitting their resume, LinkedIn profile, cover letter, or maybe a portfolio. They don't know your family. They don't know your friends. They don't know none of that. So, like, stop talking about everything else going on in your life and stick to us on the piece of paper that we offered you, right?
Yeah.
So, we set the foundation and we set the tone for your whole interview process by highlighting the most relevant things you've done and the impact you make to show that you can contribute to the overall growth of the company.
Okay.
Because people want to hire people who bring value.
Hey guys, it's Ariel from the Work and Play podcast. If you're getting any value from this channel, and I mean anything from the tutorials to the podcast to the random videos that you see on this channel, then I just ask that you do one thing. Please subscribe. Subscribe and share this to anyone that you think this resonates with, and drop a comment below so I know what other things that you want to see next. Now let's get back to the episode.
That's simple. I don't care about your duties. Cool. I'm first and foremost, I know what you should be doing because I put the job application out there. You don't have to tell me what a recruiter does. I can look that up on Google, right? Or talk to another recruiter. I need to know what Ariel has done as a recruiter at XYZ company to see how she will be a good fit for my organization.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Okay. How do you close that learning gap? So let's say you've done a bang up job on the resume, right? You've conveyed everything that's great about that client into the paper. 7 days and they're still kind of talking about all this. Yeah. What do you do?
We do offer interview coaching and career coaching to kind of help people articulate their value, because that's a whole nother thing.
Yes.
Right? We can do the resume, but if you can't speak to it, then that's
another
something we need to work on, right?
Right.
So that's how we close that gap, right?
Okay.
We do the interview coaching we got some executive coaches on our team that specialize in that stuff. So we focus on really two things: boosting your confidence, because that's ultimately the key to unlocking a award-winning career and landing that dream job. Second, we want to make sure that you can actually speak to everything that's on the resume, because that's the only foundation that you turn in that they can use against you. They're only using what you turned in. So like I said, don't go off the whim and talk about your whole life story when the resume is all they know about, or their LinkedIn profile is all they know about. So use that to cultivate your story and answer the question they ask.
Yeah.
So that's how we kind of bridge that gap for entry-level, mid-career, and ultimately executive professionals.
Yeah, I mean, and the skill set is transferable. Like what you're doing is literally closing that gap for anyone out there, any pay grade, who just needs to bridge the gap between how awesome they are, and then what they say on paper, and then communicating that. So I love what you do. I gotta give that to my clients, because one of the things that we talk about from going from corporate to entrepreneurship is conveying your story and your value. Yeah. Now, you said that you were interested in going into entrepreneurship, and you mentioned that one pager, right?
Yeah.
So how else could you, so one of the things that I'll tell my clients is to help brand themselves, or is to start speaking to the values that they have outside of the company. Start speaking to the gifts that they have independent of what your job title says. How would you help a person who is going from that corporate brand to an entrepreneur brand without any like blow-ups where they're afraid that the company's going to find out that they're into entrepreneurship too soon? How would you help them make that transition on their LinkedIn?
So, I mean, talk about what you know. Mm-hmm. Right? So, I don't think any company will be mad at you talking about your job. Mm-hmm. If it's positive stuff, right?
Absolutely.
So, like, honestly, that's going to build the brand for the company.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly and truly, like, now they got somebody, like, I'm a financial analyst at Adobe. So, if I'm talking about what a financial analyst does, the hardships, the outcomes, the benefits, like, that's boosting the company's morale. Like, they know where I'm working at because LinkedIn tells you.
Exactly.
That's honestly boosting their credibility, but it's also boosting your own brand. Mm-hmm. To where now you're actually a thought leader in this financial analyst space.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So take the skill sets you already have, and like I tell everybody, like, Adobe's my client. I can do financial analyst stuff for other businesses. Mm-hmm. The same skills I'm learning there, I can. You know how many small businesses don't have financial models?
Right.
I could easily, let's get your finances together.
Yeah.
Here's the cost. This is what I would do. This is the project scope. Done. Mm-hmm. Freelance work. But now you have a client that could also pay you on a retainer after you do that project. Yeah. That's bookkeeping.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're already doing it. You're doing it at one organization. Go ahead and multiply and do it for 10, 15 different other organizations.
You talking real stuff.
And then you learn how to automate the process.
Yes.
To where you got systems doing what you would do for the organization.
Speak on it.
And now you're freeing up the time.
Speak on it.
Now you ain't got to manually do the work. And you might just come up with a startup idea to where now you got 15 people that like it. Now you're scaling to a million people liking it. And that's it right there.
Come on. It sounds like when you're ready to do this entrepreneur, that entrepreneur is your client, they're going to be set up really like perfect.
Nah, for sure. Like that's where the money at too. Because what I've learned is even job seekers, like, I think they're hesitant because it's only one person paying them. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, after I get my job, I'm good. They're comfortable. They get complacent. But your skill set is valuable to more than the company that you're working at. Yeah. You can do the same thing for multiple people because everybody has the same need. You might have to learn their system, their processes, or really you make your own brand and you tell people their system and processes.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because nobody's telling me how to run Spark Your Resume. Mm-hmm. I'm putting it out like this. This is what we do. This is how it's happening. Yeah, you can offer suggestions. I take the suggestions from my teammates and everything like that because I don't necessarily do their job every single day. So like, how can I make your job easier? Of course, that can happen. But when you're taking on a new client, then this is how it's happening. This is how it's going to work. This is the proven results we've had for XYZ clients. We can do the same for you.
Yes. And
that's how you run a successful side business that ultimately can turn into your full business after it replaces your income as your 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm. But what you're talking about right now, what I really love, it's that mindset shift. Yeah. I'm so glad those words came out of your mouth because everything you said is if y'all need to replay it, take some notes, and step 1, step 2, step 3, start with what you know. That's the first step to the yellow brick road.
I mean, think about it. Like, you already spent 15 years at a company learning one thing, one skill. 15 years. I know people that has been at the company for 25 years.
Yeah.
Making $80,000. You know how much that one skill set could pay you if you just multiply?
It's crazy out here. Okay, look. So it's really clear. It's really clear that you're in a space where you have soaked up enough information and enough experiences, and you've put it into this business that's helping people on so many different levels. And you're going to eventually branch into this entrepreneurial space, which I cannot wait because I'm going to be tapping into your services for my clients.
Yeah. Now we need to talk about partnerships.
Oh my gosh, that is, woo, man. man.
I was glad to think about that.
That's so cool. So I'm curious to know, and even before that decision that you had to make, you had that 1.9, you made a decision to go into business for yourself instead and leave your passion behind.
Yeah.
So let's go a little bit further back. Like, where did you grow up? Like, what was life like as a kid?
Yeah, so born and raised in Atlanta, Northside Hospital. Born like my mom and dad, they got a house in Stone Mountain. Been living at the same house since I was born, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, the house is old as me.
That's stable right there.
Yeah,
oh man, that's
crazy.
That's love too.
It's crazy to even think about that. But yeah, man, they've been a blessing. And then, I mean, just growing up, I was always involved in sports. And I think sports has really just made my career just like seamless. Because the things you learn in sports is like time efficiency, dedication, hard work, teamwork, right? Even networking, like getting to know different players on the team, because y'all gotta eventually come together to win this game.
Right.
So like all of that stuff can translate into your professional experiences, and that's what it's done for me, to be honest. Like how I grew a team, and then honestly, I would even say my upbringing, like my mom and dad, they've been together since they were like 15. Grandparents, I know grandparents in my life, like just having that family-oriented environment has taught me the value of, you know, having good people around you that also care about you. You know what I'm saying? More than just monetarily. You know, like it's really about people that genuinely see what you can do and pouring into that. And nobody's there for, oh, I know how much money he about to make. Let me ride this train out and break a piece of my pie at the end. You know what I mean? They really want to see you succeed, money or no money type deal. So, and that's taught me how to, you know, vet people out, like who's in my circle, who's not, and even let people go. I think that's honestly even more important than bringing people in. It's like, yo, you gotta let like you evolve over time, and everybody that's with you today will not be with you tomorrow.
Right.
So, and it's okay. Like, don't feel bad about that, because it happens. You know what I'm saying? You wish them the best, love them from a distance, and keep things moving. Because at the end of the day, man, you got to do what's best for you. And I wholeheartedly believe that it's important to, you know, care about others. But seriously, at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you, because if you're not at your best, you can't help anybody else.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
Yeah.
You're such a grounded person. And now it makes sense, like how a person your age could influence so many people on so many different levels, and how your background even validates your wisdom for being able to like bring a sense of calmness, bring a sense of security, bring a sense of like understanding of what it takes to have a cooperative unit, like from watching your parents grow up and into having that foundation as a young athlete. It's really just astounding how you packaged all that up into this one person. And you got so much more life to live.
I know. I appreciate that first and foremost. But yeah, I mean, experiences ultimately, I mean, they formulate your life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the things you take away from those experiences that make you who you are today.
Yeah.
And I took the bits and pieces that I needed, because every part of that experience I didn't need. I had to let it go. Football, for example, but I took the learnings out of football and implemented that into my professional experience. Like, that's the type of stuff you got to learn on the way. I don't even think it can be like really taught. I think it's just like you got to know, okay, where I want to go in life, and then what did I learn in this experience that I can implement in this experience so I'm not making the same mistakes.
Yeah, it's a level of self-awareness that you have,
for
sure.
Self-awareness is key, and I'm still getting better at that. You're gonna always be getting better at it. Like, I'm not fully self-aware of where I want to be, but I'm not gonna say I'm comfortable, but I'm in a space where it's like, okay, I know who I am.
Yeah, And you're clear on how to tell your story. I mean, like, even from young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
One of the things I'm curious about, because you seem so serious as a young person. Were you a serious kid? Did you have any fun? What did fun look like?
I know, right? Honestly, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Like, I didn't get this serious and really until, like, after I stopped playing football. My fun was sports.
Yeah.
And now I'm finding that fun, like, entrepreneurship is a sport. It's fun to me. Like, it's like, yo, I got people actually buying my product and service that I just created 15 months ago. I said 15 minutes.
Right.
15 months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's still crazy to me today. It's like, folks actually believe in what we can do. And we got proven results to, get to that point or build that level of credibility, but I had to get that first client that could actually, where I didn't have results. I had to sell myself on, like, yo, we can do this for you. We can help you in this way. This is what we do. This is how we do it. Yeah. Here's our process. Here's our payment plan. Like, whatever, right? So, entrepreneurship is a sport, man.
Yeah.
It's a sport, and you gotta love it. And you gotta be dedicated to it. You gotta nourish it.
When you say it's starting, like, things are, like, coming together in my brain, but when you say you started your business 15 months ago, now you got me saying it. And you got your first client. I hear you say we, right? Now, when you went into business, did you have a team off the top, or did you have to, like, start off?
So yeah, my first hire was actually a marketing social media manager.
Okay.
And that was, like, really when I started the business, because I knew we needed to build the brand. Like, I knew brand building was important. People had to know what we do. And I always tell people this, like, in with job seeking, you can be the best person for the job, but if nobody knows you, it's irrelevant. I got a best resume writing company, but if nobody knows about us, it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's all about exposure. Exposure brings opportunity. It's just that simple. And when I started, I was like, okay, we need to focus on marketing, because if nobody knows it, we're not generating any revenue.
Yeah.
Right? So my first hire was a social media manager, and I ran everything myself. So sales, I was doing the resumes, I was doing the LinkedIn's, I built the Squarespace website by myself. Like, YouTube, bro, YouTube University, like,
right on.
Take advantage of it. I promise you can learn a lot on YouTube. If you ask Google the right questions, and YouTube is owned by Google, like, they got the 2 number 1 search engines in the world, you will find everything you need to know in life. In life. My number 1 skill is being resourceful. I'm a resourceful individual. Like, I don't know everything, but I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I find out. And when I find out and I study it, it's over with. It's over with. I'm good. So I'm gonna ask the right questions. I'm gonna get all the information I need, pay for the resources if I need to pay for them.
Yeah.
Like, invest in myself. And it's that simple. Like, that's the key to entrepreneurship. I feel like resourcefulness. If you are resourceful, you can do anything. You can do anything. I didn't know how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm resourceful.
Yeah.
And I use my resources to pave my way to being a successful entrepreneur.
So your first hire was a social media manager. When did you start to duplicate yourself?
I think that was like May.
Really?
Yeah, like the first month. I got like 10 orders at one time. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this again. It's too much. I literally stayed up for like 3 days straight knocking out orders because they were due. I was like, yeah, this is crazy. Like, I'm not doing this. I cannot. Immediately put out my applications for resume consultants. That's what I call them. Resume consultants. Because they were more than just resume writers. They were actually like taking those intro calls. And like, the business has changed so much in the past 15 months. It's crazy. But what I've learned is, like, always adapt. Yeah. Like, be willing to adapt and adjust to the market. You know what I mean? Because now I found that I might even find better writers overseas, but they don't need to take intro calls. Hire the customer success manager, who's the middleman. He gets on the intro call via Zoom, records it, sends the information to the resume writer on the back end. They watch the intro call with the client, get the project done, turn it back into him. he makes sure everything good.
I love
you know
it.
I mean? So, and we got a client portal now through Basecamp called Basecamp 3 that we implemented to our system like I think 2 months ago. Because before we were sending out, emails. Like that's man, that alone just caused me a headache. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what was going on in my business. So I was like, we gotta cut this out. I gotta find a portal to like where we can onboard clients, and I created to-do lists, like SOPs again. Like I got client to-do lists, I got resume consultants to-do lists, I got customer success manager to-do lists, I got admins to-do lists, my CEO to-do list. Like, yo, this is what we're doing Monday through Friday for your 8-hour shift. This is what you're doing. Let's make it happen.
Yes. I know what I'm doing after this interview. I'm getting all my processes together.
The processes that's the systems, the automation. Like I use Zapier for automation.
Okay.
And I'm even thinking about honestly starting my own marketing agency to where we even do automation for small businesses. Cause I'm really nice with it. Like, I mean, like it was really nice, right? So like I'm still learning from other like certified automation specialists. Cause I just got into it, but if you go to my website right now, like I mentioned before, I'm like, you download anything, you purchase anything, you're getting everything you need right now.
Yeah.
In minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm here doing a podcast episode. You know what I'm saying? The business can run by itself.
Yeah.
And I know what a stopping point is. Like the manual transition from you purchasing a package right now would be when my customer success manager has to send you an invite to our portal.
That's the only thing manual?
That's it. After that, you're good. You're in the portal, you got everything you need.
Okay.
And the only reason I couldn't do that, I might be able to figure out a way, but Zapier doesn't allow you to, like, because I got to create the project based on, like, the person's name coming through Shopify. The project won't get created till then, and then I got to, like, if I could find a way to, like, put their email and first name and last name into the project, it'll be good. But the project has to be created first.
Yeah.
So the project's not even there to where Zapier can find the project, and it's based on like a unique ID.
Yeah.
So the project's not there, there's no unique ID.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, that's systems talk.
Yeah, that is
systems talk. I remember building my website, trying to make all of the systems talk together. The thing about it is, when you go from corporate, so I spent 7 years in corporate before I went into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
When you go into corporate, you're used to everything working like it's supposed to work. You pretty much spend whatever money needs to be spent because it's not on your dime.
That's a fact.
And the data that you have is endless. You can find unique identifiers. You can find whatever data you need to link to another table and create whatever query you need to create.
That's a fact.
But when you're working at the entrepreneurial level, everything is so granular. So this system talk is like, do you enjoy that part of the business?
Oh, I love the systems. That's why I want to start a business. Like, I need to start, like, people have already been, like, every time I show somebody how I run the business, they're like, yo, can you do that? Can you do that for me? Because I don't have the time. I don't have the time. And then the thing about systems, like, you have to know your workflows before you can even get into systems. So like, you got to understand what's your lead gen strategy. Like, how are you getting people to opt in? Is it Facebook
lead gen
ads?
For everybody is lead generation.
Yeah, lead generation. So, entrepreneurs.
Look, No, we talking to corporate people. They're working out their way.
So lead generation. So lead generation is how are you gaining people into your system? How are you getting clients to opt into your platform, your system, whatever, to get they're interested in what you do, right? Whether that be an email list, a free download. That's really like the main two is like ads, Facebook ads, email list. And then like a free downloadable, right?
Yeah.
Those are like the main 3 ways for people to like kind of opt into your system. And what I tell people is like, ask for everything. First name, last name, email, phone number. Don't make it required, but ask for it because you'll be surprised how many people actually give you their phone number.
Yeah.
To where now I can text you, I can call you, or I can directly communicate with you instead of just email because folks check their email whenever they want, right? So we actually implemented a system where I'm sending out text messages automatically, like all through my CRM, which is called Key.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it fire.
You use a lot of different systems I've never heard, but Keep is definitely one of those.
Yeah, keep.
Okay.
Oh, and I got an entrepreneur's playbook.
Okay.
Same as plug.
Hey.
$10.
Okay.
Easy.
So we'll put the link in the bio. Now do my listeners get any type of like
discount?
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
All right, I'll give them half off.
That would be
half
dope.
Off the ebook. $5 ebook.
Okay. Oh, look at it. We're gonna put the link in the bio for sure.
Yeah, half off, $5 ebook. I go through literally all the systems I use, 42 pages. From marketing, finance, sales, operations, IT. I even got my lawyers in there.
Yeah.
So like I'm giving you all the resources, all the contacts, because one thing I've noticed is like I'm very resourceful, right?
Yeah.
And I do my due diligence on like learning what tools and systems are best for my business. Not saying that all the tools and systems that I use are best for your business, but I like everybody I've talked to, like the CRM I'm using is good for most businesses because it does everything in one platform. It's a learning curve, but it does everything in one platform.
Okay.
So you don't have to do. You don't got to go invest in this system. You don't got to go invest in this system. Everything is in one hub to where you're paying one person or one company an invoice every month.
Okay.
Instead of 5, 6, 7 different companies, right?
Okay.
To integrate with everything that you need to happen.
Okay.
So I break it down from like HR, IT, web development, sales, marketing, finance, legal, everything you need to run your business, operations. And it's honestly, it's pretty dope. It's 42 pages of free game.
I can imagine. I got so many other questions about systems, but I'm still curious about your journey because I do believe that one of the biggest boss moves is to create your business while you're still in college. Whether you're in your undergrad or if you're in your master's program, I just believe that's a boss move for me. But I want to hear your perspective and why you would suggest someone do that who's still in undergrad.
If you're still in undergrad, you got nothing to lose. Honestly and truly, like that's probably the easiest time for you to create a business. No kids, no fam, like none of that. You got no really real responsibilities. And I always tell people this, like, get into as many clubs as possible. Because if I wasn't the president of my business fraternity, I would not know how to run a business.
What do you mean?
As a president, you're the CEO.
Yeah.
I had chairs and vice presidents right under me.
Yeah.
Those are my employees. Those are my staff members. I don't like to say employee. I like team members. Those are my team members. We got different sectors of the business. We had social media, like social media chair, like brotherhood chair. Like it was different sectors, and then they had people under them, like members underneath their committees. Just like a company, like an organization.
Yeah.
You got the CEO, you got the exec board, you got sectors of finance, operations, legal, IT, web development, all of that. And then you got people working under each of those sectors. Same thing. If I wasn't in that, if I didn't gain that area of expertise, like, I don't think I would be as successful as I was now because that was free. Yeah. That was free. That was free experience. Like it was hell.
Okay.
But like, it was a lot to manage.
Yeah.
To like, I had 50 people on like in my chapter, and then you still gotta manage like other stuff outside of just your chapter, like regional stuff. So you got VPs from Atlanta Gulf Coast calling you about certain stuff. You got your chapter acting a hot mess, like what they got going on today. It's a lot, like to manage 50 people. That's like 50 employees.
Yeah, and your employees essentially are college students, so they're not even people who are on the payroll and got their act right.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So if you can manage those people, you can most definitely manage professional people that know they're getting a check for what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's really free game. Like it's free experience. Like college gives you a lot of free experience and a lot of room to fail. If you don't fail at least 10 times in college, you haven't done what you need to do.
Ooh.
And my network is immaculate. I can go back to Georgia State right now. leave right now. Because I've made connections with important people. Important people. Like, we just got a new president. Oh, I'm about to go meet him soon. Send that email off, call up there. I need to know him.
Yeah.
Because eventually I'm going to build something where I'm selling it to Georgia State for your students to get hired.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, relationships, man. And I think the average closing deal for like B2B is like 8 months.
Okay.
I'm not expecting to close a B2B deal when I first call. No.
Yeah.
I've been talking to a couple companies for the past year and a half. Still haven't closed a deal. But we keep building our process, keep building our systems, getting testimonials, right? Getting that social proof. And then we go back. Yo, we got this now. Check it out. And we've already been building that relationship to where now they like, know, and trust me.
Yes.
People hire who they like, know, and trust.
Yes.
It's that simple.
I like how you said that first tip, getting into club organizations would never, I mean, like, of course, I think as a young college student, I knew that, so I did it. Yeah. But the way you just positioned it gives anyone the clear understanding of what to look for when you go into an organization, that structure. So you did have the finance degree, so it taught you the books. Right. And then, so I get that. Yeah. But then the organization, and it sounds like, honestly, any organization could do that, because I was in RHA, and we had the treasurer and the media Residence Hall Association.
For the people that don't know.
Right, for the people that do not know. Residence Hall Association was the second largest organization outside of SGA. Okay. And so. What's SGA? Student Government Association. Thank you. And so what you just broke down was not just, hey, you know how parents tell you, hey, do this? Yeah. A lot of times parents or my mentors will say, join a club, a club. But what you just said was join a club, and then you gave them what to look for when they get into a club.
And it's not even just join the club. It's actually like taking leadership experience in the club, because being a member is cool, but being a president even better.
Yeah.
Telling you, like, you're gonna learn so much. It's not even funny. I'm up 3 a.m. working for people that don't even care. Yeah. So imagine you 3 a.m. working for people that do care. Yeah. You're gonna love it. Yeah. You're gonna love it. But I had to go through that to even understand what that even felt like. Yeah. And that's free experience. I can mess up a budget and be good. I can make the wrong marketing decision and be fine. When it comes to that business, you got a limited amount of mistakes until you run out of cash. Yeah. Get the free experience while you can. Volunteering isn't always just volunteering. Yeah. Because it's about what you take out of that volunteer experience and implement into your real life.
Speak on it.
Impactful. Yeah.
And all of this stuff is literally packaged into your brain and into your team's brain, and it goes into the products. At least as of right now, you just have Spark Your Resumes, but I can see a million businesses that you can create off the relationship knowledge that you have, storytelling knowledge that you have, the systems knowledge that you have, business knowledge, business organization knowledge that you have. So you are a speeding bullet right now.
Hey, I'm just trying to niche it down. Be consistent and bring as much value as possible.
Absolutely. I think, and we talked about this off camera, but that niching down, I think, is definitely going to make you lethal. It's going to make you lethal.
It's key.
So, were you going to say something?
No, you're good.
I was going to say, well, one, it's been a pleasure, super pleasure to talk to someone at such high vibration. And at such a young age. It's crazy. Like, sometimes I feel like a couple of years make me years apart, decades apart from people who are in my generation. But it really is refreshing to hear from you. And I think there are a lot of people who could learn from you at higher levels, as well as who are right behind you. So one of the things I like to do on the show is reach back. You're really like you're not at the beginning. You have so many years under your belt, so I'm not even gonna discredit that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I like to do on the show is reach back as we're moving forward. And what I mean is there's somebody who's following in your footsteps.
Yeah.
There's somebody who wants to make a transition and go into entrepreneurship or leave football. Like they might even be at that intersection where football is life right now.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know what, if you could identify or pinpoint one area or one person or one place in that transition and speak to that person, speak into them and help them understand how to take their next step, what would you say?
It starts with you. It's not about where you're at right now, but like who you are right now and where you want to be. Like you got to really think about your future, man. Paint that picture. Who do I want to be in 5 years and how I'm going to make that happen? That's what I did. I knew I wasn't going to the NFL. And right now, this is what folks playing for. They playing to get to the next level.
Yeah.
So me playing really isn't important. That's not going to get me to the next level. Playing football for 4 years will get me to the NFL. My goal wasn't to get to the NFL. So that didn't align with my goal. So I had to walk away. I had to pivot, right? But I'm taking all my experience that I've learned over the past 2 years playing football in college and implementing that into on-campus experience and identifying my path.
Mm-hmm.
So like the first step, first and foremost, is to like figure out what do I look like even 2 years down the line. I don't even think 2 years. Where do you want to be 2 years from now? Because what most people do, they look back a year from now and they're in the same position they're in and they regret it. Damn, I didn't do nothing over the past 12 months. I'm in the same position I'm in from June 2020 to June 2021. And they're like, where did time go?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're constantly trying to improve and reach your goals, you'll find yourself successful or even like that next level up, you know what I'm saying, to reaching that goal that picture that you painted for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's most important. Like you have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And you can't avoid what you see. So write it down.
Yeah.
Put it on the wall, somewhere where you're gonna look at every single day before you brush your teeth in the morning. Put on your mirror. I gotta be this. So where you don't lose hindsight of like everything else is gonna come into your life. You wanna have friends that wanna go out. I can't go out tonight, bro. I know my picture. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to put myself into a place where I had to remind myself every day who I wanted to be. Yo, why you quit football? I still, like, you know what I'm saying? I still hear that to this day. Like, man. But now I hear, oh, you made the right decision.
Mm-hmm.
But 2 years ago, folks didn't think I made the right decision.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, man, I'm so glad you left. I'm so glad you left football, bro. You're doing well for yourself. But if I didn't make that decision, that wouldn't be that statement right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, you got to bet on yourself and understand your picture. Paint that picture. Leonardo da Vinci. But that's what I would say. Paint the picture and remind yourself who you want to be every day. And I think you'll most definitely find your way to getting there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. Look, I have enjoyed this conversation thoroughly, and I hope you've been taking notes. We actually talked about so much, and I appreciated your journey the most. But what you guys are going to get is these links, and I'm going to put them in the bottom of the description, so that y'all can go ahead and cop both of those products. Because I think those are going to be valuable to help you change your life and go from that shift from employee to entrepreneur. So before we get out of here, Leander, how do they get connected with you?
For sure. So LinkedIn is probably my #1 platform. So Leander Howard II on LinkedIn, Leander Howard II on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I think it's like Leander Howard. And then you got Spark Your Resume, Spark_your resume on Instagram, Spark Your Resume on LinkedIn, Facebook, Google, and then the podcast, Spark Your Success. So you got _your success on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to podcasts, we out there. So
let's go. Thank y'all so much for listening, and thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm gonna see you guys later. Peace out.
Peace.
See you soon.